Hello everyone. Hope you guys are good. Oh, today I bring you a guide for what I've done on LE Classical. This is a build I have been enjoying very much. It's at least a very good Necromancer leveling build. If anything else, it works on Empowered as well. Empower Monolith, so 100 corruption. I'm still checking out how far it can go, so I'll keep you updated on that. Anyhow, moving on. So this is a minion focused build, mostly focused on Skeletal Mage. We have our skeletons, which you use as fodder. Well, let's start with. Pretty much this build centers around Profane Oblation. That sacrifices in case your skeleton warriors, rogues and vanguards. Do damage. Pretty standard. As you can see, are speccing into Death Knights because they are better at acquiring target, and then it's just damage, as damage as you can. Anywho, we have Golem as well, just to because we need a target for our Red Shade. Golem is a good target for it. That's the only reason we Golem. I'm still messing around with it, trying to figure out if fire or blood will be better. I'm tending towards fire now. I was with blood, but now we're switching over to fire. Try it out. And then you have your skeletons. So this is a very important part of the build. You want your skeletons to be this Soul Catcher and Mind Catcher are the things that keep this build running over and over, because you pretty much are summon skeletons essentially becomes a mana battery, something you can keep on spamming and spamming over and over again because of the mana return, because you spend 35 mana to cast it and you get 45 mana back. It summons 3 skeletons and you get 15 per skeleton, 45, and you also get ward at the same time, and you also get ward from here, and you also get ward from here. So this build actually scales to have a ton of ward on top of your life, and fixes one of my main issues with minion builds, which is the lack of sustain. So in terms of uniques, use Julra to buff up our skeleton mages more. The cycle of Putrescence, because we have volatile zombies, which you don't use on our bar, they just spawn out of the sacrifice. There's always sacrificing skeletons, they will spawn. And then we have Death Rattle for more damage, more crit multiplier, because our skeletons can get 100% crit chance. Our skeletal mages get 100% crit chance with this build, so the multiplier is nice. Not to mention you also gain health back on minion death. It all functions around the idea of, yeah, your skeletons are just ammunition and they're always gonna be dying and they're always gonna be generating ward and health and everything and damage. This is not the final set of gear yet. Only the uniques are somewhat final. The question of getting better rolls and legendaries. Neither of the center is final. The final build here will be on the planner. It's gonna be on the description of the video. On the bottom. But yeah. These are gonna be our weapon type and pet type. We're using Opulent Focus because of the sheer amount of ward retention it provides, as well as the ward per second. It's nice to keep a base on ward. And Soul Harvester because it gives you a ton of increased necrotic damage, which buffs the skeletal mages, which is our main DPS, and also the volatile zombies. Turn them into necrotic. We could double dip. When it comes to passives, I showed you Motion of Souls, so one very important part of this build. It's also very nice for the ward generation. And then we go cast speed, have the armor shred, chance to mark. This will pretty much guarantee that you'll have enemies marked, bosses especially. Minion attack at cast speed, necrotic damage and resist, more mages. And eventually we're gonna get oh, this is also pretty important to help keep your minions alive. Especially the mages, since they have a 100% crit chance. They are always gonna be leaking. Along with this, it stores 15% of their max health, so unless they get one shot, odds are they will. On Acolyte, you go for damage, go for attack speed, cast speed, and intelligence. We might end up shifting this points from here into the natural preservation. That's something for the future. We're still, for now, we're keeping it on the damage. But odds are I'll probably switch this over that so you can get even more ward. Warlock, we go for necrotic damage and chance. This will apply to minions. And it's damage for them. Here we go for the intelligence for the mana. Because we will want to have +4 in an ideal world, +4 skeletal mage's relic, so we can add points there. So it gets, instead of the current 9%, it gets 45% extra damage. That's pretty much it. But the only thing that's missing here is the crit health and crit multi that we will get after we get here and for a bit more ward decay. Anyhow, let me just hop over to Nina. I can show you what you can actually attack with this build and how it functions. Then at the end, we'll have a bit of gameplay. I'll have gameplay at level 20, 40, and then empowered Monolith. You can the level 21, and then I'll have a slightly small interesting thing at the end, which is the build at level 23 doing Monolith. As you can see, so the build will work. You're pretty much just spamming skeletons, and if you spam outside of Dread Shade, it pretty much more or less keeps up with the... So you just don't run out of mana. Look at the ward. How much ward we can get on this build on top of our health. And if you lose a bit of HP, you can also recoup it very fast because of that rattle. Yeah. You can see a very tanky, safe build of Necromancer. I've given you an idea of what the build is about, so we'll go over to gameplay and showing how the build actually plays, and then for anything else you have a planner in the bottom of the description. And I generally stream every day, a lot of LE, other games as well, but feel free to drop by the Twitch, same name, about whatever you want. I'm always up for more theory crafting and changing things around. The build is still not yet final, but for now it works quite well. Anyhow, on to the gameplay. So this is when you reach level 20, you unlock Skeletal Mage and the build starts coming online. For now the ward generation is going to be very bad. Damage is already there. Pick up one more levels and then a couple of levels later, a couple of gear upgrades on them. Nothing all that amazing. This is what starts happening. And this is how it begins. Have no mana issues because you're getting mana back from whenever your skeleton gets blown up. And you're generating ward every time the skeleton is blown up. Point of absurdity. Especially considering we're level 23. You can see it's pretty insane for leveling build. At least, even if it doesn't scale too well, because we are still working on the end game. At least as a leveling build, potential is right here. Level 23, and that's how much ward you're already generating. Then we'll see, give it a snippet at level 40 and then on. So here, let me just show you how it plays at level around level 40. Hit 41. Look at the ward. Look at the absurdity we can do with this. That's like level 40. This is probably the safest build I've ever done. The second iteration of it, so it will be even better than the first time I tried to do something like this. And as you can see, the ward gain is just absurd. We're at level 40, man. And look at that ward. Just look at it. And the damage is good. Our gear is nothing all that amazing. We did get lucky with whatchamacallit, with the Nemesis. So show you. Did get lucky with the Nemesis that got us this, the 8% critical strike chance as a sealed affix, which is kind of nice. And then we have these that we found. Anything else? We also grabbed this, which is a very somewhat common drop from what I've seen. That's it. Pretty much. Our gear. Could be good even without all of these uniques. This is just bonus, really. This means we can get more points in. Okay. So let's go on. Here we have the build running on Empowered Monolith. Actually already pretty well geared at this point. Not perfect, or even close to it, not even close to out on the planner, especially because they're not even 85. When you get the items. As you can see, very chill. Very chill, very safe. Sitting at 2-3k ward on top of our armor ward. Yeah, sometimes I will just recast Golem so I can more easily put Dretch or Spectate on him. See, the damage is good, everything gets melted. There's a 100 corruption still. Let's see if we can find this. It's so safe that we can even go ahead of our minions without having to worry. That's really nice. And there. 100 corruption. Very chill. Okay, so we updated our upgraded equipment. Still have here, we're not equipping it. Int, health, intelligence, got an Oak Scepter, that was on the sword. Increased minion spell damage, and minion damage and health. Right? Try Monolith again. Just because I'm really curious if this works or not. And if it works, I might as well share it with you. Yeah, this is the insanity that we're dealing with. Necro minion build that works at level 23 on Monolith. As long as you hear it even a slight smidge. Like we are level 23, we barely have any gear, and funny, right? Yeah, one of the safest builds I've ever done. And it's on a minion necro, and it's just insane. The potential on this. Of course, we still die because we were not being there. For level 23, doing that, kinda silly, especially with no resist. So, moving on.